Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the old family farm. Oh my gosh, it's always so good to be back here. Every time I come back to the farm and I walk around, I smile and I'm happy. This map just brings back so many fond memories of playing it years ago, and I just feel like the same feeling comes back to me when I'm on the old family farm. It's like being home, and it's just fantastic. And I really, really appreciate you all being here with me, and the ducks, and the chickens, and a dog that presently has yet to be named. He's around here somewhere. That duck's running for their life for some reason. Oh, but it's so good to be back. And we've got so much to do this episode, or so much to talk about, so many things going on. I hope I don't forget anything because that would be so like me. But I think we'll hit all the hot spots that we need to get to, plus an update on BLS, otherwise known as Betty Lou Small, and of course her Ken Tiny, who have been MIA through the holidays. They are still gone. I did actually receive a postcard from them the other day, and we'll talk about that as well. Well, hello, little buddy. How you doing? Yeah, good. So I've been thinking we we need to get some cows. Now, we're not going to get cows in this episode, but we are going to get cows as soon as we get our first grass cut. Because I don't want to get cows and then be like, I got nothing to feed you, and I really don't want to buy bales straight away. But we are going to get cows. Probably not a lot of them, but some. It's just this is a waste, just sitting here empty. I brought the water tanker over here because we are going to have to get them water manually. We did have a well put in, very, very inexpensive to do. It was $100, so I thought, yep, that's a good idea. There is a little pond over yonder over there, but I was unsuccessful at getting this water tanker filled at the pond. So we're going to make it easy on ourselves and just use this little pump here. And of course, we've got our water here and a place to put food here. I think we're just going to do beef cattle. We're not going to deal with dairy cattle. We're just going to do straight beef cattle, and we're going to feed them hay and grass. Maybe TMR at some point, but I don't think so. I think we're going to stick with hay and grass. And from what I've heard, beef cattle are pretty happy on a steady diet of hay and grass. So that's what we're going to do. But that isn't going to be this episode because, like I said, we need to get our first cut of grass in. Because I just don't want to buy bales. Let me fix this straight away because this is going to drive me crazy. There we go. And grass will be here soon. This field here, and of course the grass field that we planted over yonder is almost ready. It will be here next month. Our corn is coming up. It is weeded, or we need to weed it. You can see weeds have already started to rear their ugly little heads, so we are going to do some weeding this episode and get that out of the way. Let me get the John Deere. Get our John Deere cleaned up a little bit, and let's just have a quick talk about BLS and Tiny. So I received a postcard. It was a very unusual postcard, to say the least. It was, it had on the front of it was a large alien face. I guess they're called grays. Just staring at you. Really eerie, kind of creepy. Actually, kind of looked like Betty Lou between you and me. Don't say anything to her about that. But regardless, I flip it over, and on the back, it says, be home soon. We hope you're doing well, and the store is okay. From your Astro friends, T and me. Now, TI and MI. Now, I don't know what that even means. I don't know if it's what they're saying is their alien names or what. They have been known to say they have seen UFOs and aliens in the hills. And as you know, Tiny he lives in the hills. So things are going to get a little creepy around here, I think, when they get back. I have a lot of questions for them. But the cool thing is, while they have been away, how do they say, when they're away, the mice will play? Well, we've been playing because I ordered a couple things for us and got a pretty good deal on them, too. Yeah, baby. So, here's our new Ford Country 1124. Giddy up. Love this little bad boy here. We finally have a 100 horsepower tractor, which I have no idea if that's a good thing or not, but it is going to be nice to have a little bit more horsepower headroom. I love the way it looks. It's fantastic. It sounds great, runs great. Oh yeah, I got a great deal on it. Also decided to go ahead and pick up a field roller. This isn't a grass roller, but it's a field roller. I figured why not? They're cheap. We'll have a roller for our crops on our next seeding, so we can always use that. The farm all's gonna go. The farm all's been good, but I'm sorry, it's gonna go. We just don't have a need for with the Ford Country. We just don't really have a need for this bad boy. So you can see I cleaned it all up. I washed it, threw a nice coat of paint on it, and we're gonna go ahead and we're going to sell it. We're going to get about $1,300 for it, which is good because we can use that money. Well, we can use it towards the cost of the tractor and the roller, plus cows. Yeah. So as you can see, really nice looking Ford tractor. Runs great. Let's listen to this bad boy fire up. Yeah. Oh, Daddy likes. Not so much that, but Daddy likes the rest. Got a little coal blowing out the stack. Very nice looking there. Not the quickest tractor in the world, but like I said, it's 100 horsepower, and I think it's going to make some of our work a little easier. Yes, I know we don't have access to the land. I guess it's just going to say that every time we tow this roller around. Oh, the other thing I figured out is the old Ford does not have the best turning radius either. So it is what it is. I'm just going to have to prepare for that because it, you know how they say things turn on a dime? This thing kind of turns, well, on like a soccer field or a football field. It's not particularly designed for sharp corners. If we don't like it, we'll figure something else out for it. But yeah, I think it'll do us some good. Right now it's stuck in the gear. I'm going to try and get it to shift up a bit. Do you not want to shift for me? I'll shut you off again. We'll fire it up one more time. It's got good lights too. She was going strong, and then I turned that corner and all of a sudden it just didn't want to go over 7. Maybe it's a gear thing. I'll have to figure that out. Had some issues on the old family farm with the tractors and gearing. But I'm going to go ahead and let's just drop this roller off. I suppose we could put it away, give it a little bit better spot, but I think that'll work. I don't think there's any way to raise and lower this roller. I think it just kind of is what it is. Kind of is what it is. So yeah, we'll deal with that. Oh goodness, I love the old stuff, you know. And it's stuff like this. It's the quirkiness. It's the maybe it doesn't work quite right. Boy, that looks kind of nice with that trailer. That's all right. But that's what makes it fun and unique, you know. Let's get this bad boy turned around. Boy, the turning radius on this thing is horrific. Absolutely horrific. Oh man, it's going to take some getting used to. We'll see if it's even, you know, suitable for field work because of that turning radius. It's so bad. No, not that way, Brad. Gonna have to do like 6-point turns every time. Let's grab our weeder at least, and maybe we can give the Ford a try. Yeah, she's a nice looking ride though. Boy, it just looks massive. The front end on it is just absolutely massive. You gonna make it out? Nope. All right. See, I'm kind of looking. Oh, this is a bad idea. That's such a bad idea. Maybe I didn't think this through very good. The farmall's looking pretty good right now. I don't know. Let's go see how she does in the field, though. That's where the rubber hits the road, so to speak, right? Don't run out in front. Oh, for goodness sakes. Yeah, Tiny and Betty Lou have had a history of some oddities with this alien business, and just getting that postcard, I don't know. And whenever they've come back from vacation, it's taken like a month or so for them to kind of assimilate. Is that the word I'm looking for? Kind of back into society? Because they come back with some really odd and strange ideas, and just, yeah, it's overall, it's just it's kind of a nightmare, if I'm being honest with you. Let's see if we can get some of these weeds out of here, so our corn doesn't get throttled by a bunch of nasty weeds. Kills our yield down and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to getting this corn harvested. I think this will be really nice for us. Looking around, I don't think the map, I think you would have to place your own if we ever got into sheep or anything. I'm not particularly that interested in getting into a bunch of animals, but we do have a cow barn. It's on our property. We've got a huge field for them, a big grazing area for them, and it just doesn't make sense to not, you know, invest in a few at least. We don't need to be, you know, we don't need 500 head of cattle, but it would be nice to get some going. This is where the problem is probably going to lie. I mean, look at that. That's the sharp. That's the turning radius right there. So not particularly the best, but hey, you know what? It's a Ford. Take it for whatever that means. See what kind of light she's got. Yeah, all right. Some rear, there you go. Get the high beams. Oh yeah, okay. Tell you what, he looks pretty chill in there, doesn't he, though? Not quite as erect as he was on the farmall. It looks a little bit more relaxed. But doesn't this kind of look like a fun tractor to be able to drive around in? And I'm gonna guess it's, I mean, I'm gonna guess it's pretty comfortable, right? I mean, you got pretty big tires on the thing. It's got to kind of glide along. I just can't get over this turning radius is just so awful. Not even sure what to even make of that, but we'll make do. If it ends up being too much of a problem, hey, you know what? We trade it in, pick up something else. Maybe we'll get away with it before BLS and Tiny come back, and, you know, no one's the wiser. So how's everybody else doing here on, boy, what is this, the second full week after the new year? I think I've already destroyed half of my New Year's resolutions. Actually, I don't really make those anymore, to be honest with you. I used to think about those things a little bit more, but now I'm just thankful I made it to the next year and I call it a day, you know. But things are starting to feel like they're kind of going, post-holiday normality is starting to sink in, I feel like. So I was watching, I have Amazon Prime, and I was watching this show. Oh, man. We've talked about TV shows before, right, on the channel. Oh, before I get into that, one quick thing. I saw before I started recording this here episode that we've hit a little milestone, I feel like, over 300 subscribers. Yay! I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to those things. The analytics are a nightmare on YouTube, but I noticed that there were like just over 300, and I thought, you know what? That's pretty sweet. So I really want to thank everyone for that. I think I have to question your sanity to some extent, but at the same time, it is really well appreciated. It's mostly that it's mostly just not so much like, oh, let's build this channel up to be hundreds of thousands of people. It's more that it's just really nice that people are watching and enjoying it, and just sharing in the fun of playing the game that we most certainly, we all love. It's a love-hate thing sometimes, right, with Farming Simulator. Sometimes we look at this game and go, man, Giants, what are you doing? And then other times it's just like, man, this is the best game I've ever played in my life. It's the most relaxing, greatest experience. Absolutely love it. All is well in the world. So, but thank you all for coming along and joining up, and I really do appreciate it. That's really awesome. So getting back to this TV business, I'm a TV fan. I'm not going to lie. In fact, I would even be very willing to say it's probably a touch of an addiction, if I'm being honest. But I have Amazon Prime, and a show popped up on the home page there on my Amazon Prime app, and it's for this show called The Rig. Have any of you seen this show? The Rig? R-I-G? I'm sorry, but I wanted to like it. I really did. It's horrible. It's really bad. It's just bad. There's so many things so wrong with this show. And I know they're trying so hard to make it it's a sci-fi drama. Ooh, there's something in the fog deal, okay? So unique, right? We've never seen that before. And I was hoping, even though it wasn't necessarily a unique concept, I was really hoping that the characters would overcome that. Like I can watch shows and movies that may in general suck. But if the acting, if the characters are good, and I can and I enjoy, that, I can look past a lot of things. And I wanted to like this show because it's got that dude. Oh man, I'm gonna totally forget his character's name now. He was on Game of Thrones. He was Khaleesi's right-hand dude. It may come to me here in a bit, but he's like one of the main dudes in the show, one of the main bosses on this oil rig. And I'm not going to get into spoilers and stuff, but I'm going to be honest with you. Even if I did, it wouldn't matter. This is not a brilliant show by any stretch of the imagination. And sometimes I see stuff like this, and I'm like, how much money is going into this that could be used in so many better ways, you know. I mean, I get we all want to be entertained, but we want to be entertained with quality. And sometimes I question myself. Like, so I got past the first episode, and I always try, even though the first episode of a show may not impress me that much, and in some cases I may even be like, wow, this is really bad. I will oftentimes try and at least give it a go, a second episode. Because I've had situations like that before where I've watched the first episode and I thought, this is not good. And then I watched the second episode and then I'm like, ooh, okay, this has gotten better. And I have to question myself sometimes on this because I'm watching this show and I got to the second episode and I'm watching the second episode and I couldn't put my finger on exactly what it was that I was really having a hard time with this show. And then it dawned on me. It's horrible. It's just a horrible show. It's just a horrible show all around. These people are on this oil rig and a fog rolls in and there's something in the fog. Yeah. Ooh, I bet you're all hanging by the seat of your pants right now, right? You're probably all like, Brad, that sounds amazing. Why are you being such a jerk about this show? It's just so bad. It's just so bad, and it's just, everything is so slow. None of the characters are likable. The best character in the show is the dude that is like the biggest jerk, I'll just say. And the only reason I like him is because at least he brings out some kind of an emotion in me. The rest of them are just so generic, vanilla, uninteresting, sad, pathetic characters. Oh my gosh, it makes me want to go back and watch that stupid David Blaine special. And I don't know if any of you caught that rant. I think that might have been on Kubota Farm. It was a couple, 2-3 months ago. I lost it. I just couldn't hold it back anymore. I watched this stupid David Blaine special that was just like a waste. You know, probably, well, I skipped through a lot. So I can honestly say it's about 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back again. I would almost rather watch that again than be subjected to the rig. And then I start questioning myself. Like, then I start thinking, am I like the only one? Am I just being mean? Am I just being a jerk? Maybe it just wasn't the right timing. Because you know how sometimes you'll see something, and if you're just not in the right mood, that can play a part in how you feel about it. You know, that kind of thing. But then I started looking around at some reviews and stuff like this, and I realized I was most definitely not the only person that really dislikes this show. And sad, really. But I guess how much potential do you give a show? And bear with me on this now. You know, when you throw a bunch of people on an oil rig and a fog rolls in, right? And this fog has some kind of a mystic, I don't know what's going on with the fog. There's something with the fog. Who knows, right? And really the only thing the show is about is, I guess from the description, is, you know, a group of people need to find their way off of an oil rig, you know, when a eerie fog, you know, overtakes them. And it's like, ooh, I should have known right then and there. But the reason I gave it a try was because of that dude from Game of Thrones. I don't necessarily look for stuff with him in it, but I thought, okay, you know, he's a successful actor. You know, he could probably at least have some Saiyan roles that he takes. So I wanted to give it a shot, but it's just so cliche and tropey and stupid. And like I said, the characters are uninteresting, corny. You got the girls on the rig that are like half flirting and half super mean. It's like, really? That's the best character development you can give these girls, is they're flirty and somewhat super mean. It's just so bad. And I finally gave up on it. And then I started thinking, you almost have to kind of suspend reality a lot of times when you watch these shows. And I'm okay with that. I had a friend that could not do that. Like, he would watch a show, and it didn't matter what it was. A comedy, drama, horror, sci-fi, didn't matter. He just couldn't get past the fact that it's a show or a movie. It's Hollywood. He couldn't suspend reality for long enough to enjoy it. So he would like nitpick at things like, well, I guess the show was okay, but that's not the way, that engine that they had in that Ford Mustang, yeah, that's not stock. That's not real. And it's like, dude, who cares? He just couldn't get past little things like that. Now, I will say this, there are shows where that does bug me. So I have to kind of give him a little bit of leeway on that. For instance, Mr. Robot, right? Loved Mr. Robot. Probably one of my favorite shows I've seen. And it would be up there in my top shows. Rami Malek, absolutely amazing. Great show. It had its flaws, but overall, really, really great show. And what I really respected about it was the effort that the creators, director, everybody put into the realism of the computer stuff. It wasn't one of these stupid, what's his name, John Travolta, what was that movie he was in, Shark, or some ridiculous thing, The Net, or I don't know what it was called, but if I'm thinking of the right guy, anyways, you see these computer hacking shows where they show the screen and it's got some weird 3D animation thing where they're doing like a Minority Report, where you got Tom Cruise sitting there, fingering the screen in the air. Just weird stuff going on that isn't reality at all. Now, Minority Report I could get past because it was futuristic. But if I'm watching a show that's supposed to take place in the mid-90s and they've got some weird floating gizmos around on a computer screen, I can't get past that. That to me is kind of laziness. But Halt and Catch Fire. There's another example of a show about IBM. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know it involved IBM and stuff like that. But they were also credited for being very realistic with their computer displays and stuff like that, and I respect that a lot. But I can suspend reality. I can enjoy shows that, even if it's like Lost, okay, nobody would have survived that plane crash. And if anybody did survive that plane crash, they would have wished they were dead, most likely. They would have been so messed up, not even funny, right? But I'm okay with stuff like that if the show is good, if the characters are good. And I did like Lost. I liked Lost quite a bit for most of it. I'm not quite as hard on it as some people are. Some people really got upset with that show towards, the last couple, 2-3 seasons. I'm not quite there with it because I knew the show was goofy anyways. But I liked Lost, and I can deal with some things that just don't quite add up. If you get hung up on stuff like that, you can't even enjoy movies like Back to the Future. Stuff like that. It's a shame because my buddy, he just can't enjoy things like that because he just gets so hooked on how things can't be real. It's a shame. Going back to the rig, though, how is it that this group of people on this oil rig, okay, and I don't want to be spoilery, they must not be in our universe. They must not live on this planet or in our current universe. And I mean that honestly. And I say that because anybody with half a brain would be looking at what's going on and would say, hey, has anybody seen the movie The Mist, or the Fog? Or was it The Mist? It was one of the two. Probably either one, to be honest with you. Has anybody seen the movie Alien? Or any of the sequels? But that's never the case in these shows. It's like they're seeing this stuff for the first time. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, this crazy cloud of mist comes through. Now the fog has completely enveloped this oil rig, and it's coincidence that people's eyes are bleeding and the power's out. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you people doing? Like, I don't know. It's I don't think that stuff would even bother me that much if it just wasn't so bad overall. It's just a horrible show. But I'd be curious if any of you have seen this show, what your thoughts are. Everybody's got their own opinions and tastes for shows, so I'm never one of these people that are like, oh, you're an idiot for liking it, because it doesn't work that way, right? I mean, for me, it just doesn't, it doesn't work that way. If you like a show, you like a show. It's okay. You don't have to prove to me why you like it. I don't have to prove to you why I like a show. I actually enjoy it more when people don't agree with me on a show, because I want to know why they don't agree with me, why they either like something I didn't or why they hated something I loved. There's a dude at work that despises Game of Thrones, and I think he would readily admit to the fact that he hates it because of how many people love it, because of how many people always talk about it. And to him, that was enough for him to just not like it. That's fine. If that's that, then that's that. It's like me with Phil Collins. Every time I hear a Phil Collins song, I want to rip my skull off. I really do. I can't stand Phil Collins. But I know people that love Phil Collins. And then there's people that are like, oh, Phil Collins, no, he sucks, but when he was with Genesis, he was really good. And I'm like, no, he was worse with Genesis. Anything with Phil Collins is horrible. He's a no-talent clown. But then there's people who love him, and that's cool. So, and I only bring Phil Collins up because tonight I came across some YouTube. It was actually kind of cool. Top 100 songs of the 1980s. And I started watching this video, and I had to cut it short because I wanted to get on the old family farm here. But man, I miss the 80s, and I miss the 80s music. And I don't know if the person who made this video, if their intentions were, and I am just absolutely tromping our corn. I'm glad, again, suspend reality a bit, because this corn would be brutalized the way I'm treating it. Anyways, Phil Collins, Another Day in Paradise, I think it's called. It's that lame, stupid, slow Phil Collins-y song. If the person who made this YouTube video was placing these songs in like an order of how good they are or how popular and stuff like that, they have got it so badly wrong. Like, it was, that horrible No Talent song was above Faithfully by Journey. First of all, anything Steve Perry sings, he could be singing the Alphabet song, and it would be better than anything Phil Collins has ever done in his miserable career. Steve Perry could sing The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, and I would rather sit and listen to that than listen to a Phil Collins song any day of the week. But anyways, a lot of great 80s stuff. I love 80s music. It's by far my favorite, next to some good a cappella stuff If you've ever heard of the nylons before, you should definitely check them out. Not the newer nylons. You got to check out the 1980s nylons. Absolutely amazing talent. Um, yeah, amazing. But now I'm going off on some other tangent. But this show, the rig, and the only reason, and I bring it up because it kind of upsets me just how bad some of this stuff can be. And it's a shame because a lot of money, I'm sure, went into producing this. And I just feel like at some point, somebody has to, on the cast or the crew or whatever, has to say, hey, is anybody else getting the feeling that this is horrible? And reviews are showing it, and I would be shocked if there's a second season. And if there is, I will be very shocked, because there are other shows that have been canceled that are far better than the rig. Man, Amazon, what are you doing? What are you doing? But speaking of good shows, let's go on a positive note, because some of you have probably already turned this video off because you don't want to listen to me rant. I know somebody who enjoys my rants, and he's listening right now, aren't you, 10 Man? That's what I'm talking about. So, Clarkson's Farm Season 2 should be coming out soon, I hear. That is awesome. I'm so looking forward to seeing Jeremy Clarkson doing some more farming. I think that is a fun, brilliant show. Obviously, it's a little borderline for me because I do not like reality TV in general, because it's not reality. It's set up phony TV is what it is, and I just don't care for it. But I think there's enough reality in Clarkson's Farm that I can look past some of the stuff that you look at and go, okay, that's kind of set up. You know, Caleb, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of set up. However, I will say I didn't believe that Caleb, his helper, was as terrified of the city as they show him to be. But I saw an interview that was really interesting with him and Jeremy talking about the show and stuff, and that dude is pretty legit. He is what you see is what you get pretty much with him. So that was kind of fun to see. And look at that. So now I know that this field of corn can be weeded in the time that it takes to complain about Phil Collins and a really bad sci-fi drama. Now we all know. There you go. Why aren't those weeds coming up? I went over them like twice, haven't I? You're not going to come up for me? What are you? Are you... I don't even know what those are. Aren't they weeds? Or did I miss... Maybe they're just something... Has Tiny been here planting his special plants again? He better not be. Good for nothing. Ah, but this cornfield looks a lot nicer now. Ooh, the Ford has definitely gotten a little dirty. Oh, no, Brad, lift it up. We don't need to destroy a bunch of grass here. So I don't know. What do you all think about the country? Is it a keeper, or is it a return and we find something else? I like it. The turning radius is absolutely horrific, but I do quite like it, though. Man, she got filthy out there, didn't she? Whew. There was something else I picked up. I don't know if we are going to... I saw it in a mod. I'm so glad that the mods came back out again. It's nice to see mods being released again, isn't it? This tractor I was looking at, but again, I don't think... I kind of want to get in a little bit higher. That's 80 horse, though. It's a lot like the Massey we have, isn't it? I mean, I actually would be almost okay with getting another Massey, if I'm being honest. Or maybe a John Deere, if we can get. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to afford 60 grand, but I'll adjust for mid 1900s pricing or whatever it is. Where we seem to jump around generations a bit here, or decades here. Like I started off with it wanting to be like the Dust Bowl era, the Depression, but that's kind of hard to do overall when you're using 1950s equipment sometimes and 60s. I'm just trying to basically stick with older equipment. I do like this John Deere quite a lot though too. That's pretty nice. That's pretty sweet. We might do away with the country. That turning radius it's bad. It's really bad. Um And it's not anything against the modder at all. It's just the style, it's the style of the tractor. I picked this gravity wagon up. I was really happy to see a gravity wagon. Oddly enough, there just aren't that many gravity wagons out there. And some of you might be thinking, well, what's the big deal, Brad? Well, in the States, gravity wagons are really, really common, especially in my neck of the woods. And we get a ton of auger wagons and all kinds of European style wagons, but it's hard to find just a good old simple gravity wagon. And there are a couple out there, but I like this one quite a lot actually. The price isn't too bad. So, something to consider. Nice little lizard gravity wagon. Who made this? It doesn't look like I've got I have a mod that will show the modder's name down here on the bottom. It looks like I don't have that installed. But anyways, I don't know. Maybe we'll do away with the country. I really, really like it. I think it's a fun tractor. Maybe it's purpose built more for maybe plowing or something. I don't really know. But that turning radius is horrific, and it's really going to make things kind of difficult. Oh, and somebody else mentioned, I want to thank, I apologize. I forget who it was. I honestly forget who left the comment, but they made a really, really good point that this withered field that I've been hoping will get planted by the farmer who owns it is probably not going to happen because this map doesn't support contracts. And it is most likely going to stay in this withered state forever. So if we're going to buy this field, we're just going to have to buy it the way it is. It's not worth waiting for it to be planted in the background by a fictional farmer. How much are you? Is that field 2? Yeah, field 2. I mean, $7,100. Yeah, I think we need to own it. And there we go. That's simple. Money spent. We got to get this thing cultivated, plowed up, or whatever we need to do to get this thing ready for planting. Probably do that on the next episode. Next episode 2, we might actually, you know what? We probably will get this field prepped before we bump ahead again. Grass is going to be ready next month, so this field will be ready to mow next month. I think our barley is ready next month, so that's awesome. Our canola has a couple months, so we're not quite there yet. And of course, corn has a little bit of time left to go. But yeah, and I don't dislike this trailer. It's been doing the job good, but it's kind of nice to keep some different equipment going, add a little variety to the farm. But I do like the looks of this nice cornfield. Looks very, very, very nice. So, but thank you, everyone. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I super appreciate your continued support for the channel. It is awesome. Your nice comments are so well appreciated. Chickens are doing okay. Thanks, girls. Keep those eggs coming. And we are heading towards cows. So as soon as we can get some grass in storage, We're gonna get some cows, so we have some food for them when they come to the farm. So I don't feel bad about having them starve for a couple months. And buying bales of grass and hay is not cheap, so trying to avoid that. But otherwise, I don't think I forgot anything. I think we're good. Maybe Betty Lou and Tiny will be back by the time we're here again. I think the country. I think the country might be gone, and I think we might be trying out a different tractor. This duck. What are you doing to? What are you doing to the country, duck? Yeah. All right. But thanks, everyone. Take care of yourselves. I really appreciate it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and didn't completely hate my rant. Um, I promise I will not mention the rig again from this day forward. Also, or David. Well, I might mention David Blaine again, but that's on a different note. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Let's take care of each other. Do something nice for somebody. You will feel awesome if you do. And join me tomorrow back on Kubota Farm. We'll wrap up the week back in East Vineland. Thanks, everyone, again. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.